Ever wondered what the greatest murder in history was? The most catastrophic flood ever recorded, and the most heartbreaking betrayal between brothers, all trace back to one single moment? A moment when everything humanity knew was lost forever. One choice, one lie, one bite that condemned the entire world to death, suffering, and separation from the Creator. But even in that darkness, a promise was whispered, a promise that would echo through thousands of years, through slavery, through famine, through betrayal, until it reached you. This is not just an ancient story. This is your story. This is the story of Genesis. Before anything existed, before time had a name, before the stars knew their place in the heavens, there was God. And in the beginning, God spoke, "Let there be light." And with those words, the universe exploded into existence. Light shattered the void. Darkness fled. The waters divided, and land rose from the depths. Mountains carved themselves into the earth. Rivers began to flow. The sky stretched endlessly above, and the stars were set in their courses like jewels on velvet. God filled the seas with creatures, the skies with birds, the land with beasts. Every living thing was formed by His hand, shaped by His breath, designed with purpose. And then, God did something different, something sacred. He came down to the earth. He knelt in the dust. With His own hands, He shaped a figure from the ground. But this figure was not yet alive. It lay there, perfectly formed but lifeless, until God leaned close and breathed into its nostrils the breath of life. And the man's chest rose. His eyes opened. Adam awakened. The first man, the first breath, the first heartbeat of humanity. God looked at him and said, "Be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth, rule over every living thing. Have dominion over the fish of the sea, the birds of the air, and every creature that moves upon the ground." God placed Adam in a garden, a paradise beyond imagination. No death, no disease, no pain, no fear, just perfect harmony. In the center of that garden stood two trees, the tree of life and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And God gave Adam one command: "Of every tree in the garden you may freely eat, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat. For in the day you eat of it, you shall surely die." But even in paradise, something was missing. Adam walked among the animals, and they all had companions. Lions had lionesses. Eagles had their mates. But Adam was alone. So God caused a deep sleep to fall upon the man. And while Adam slept, God took one of his ribs, and from it, He formed the woman. When Adam opened his eyes and saw her, he knew instantly. She was different. She was his equal, his companion, his other half. "This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh," Adam declared. "She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man." And they lived together in perfect peace, naked and unashamed, walking with God in the cool of the day. But the enemy was watching. The serpent, the ancient deceiver, the adversary of God, slithered into the garden. And he waited for the perfect moment to strike. The serpent approached the woman with a question, smooth and subtle. "Did God really say you must not eat from any tree in the garden?" Eve hesitated. "No, we may eat from the trees. But there is one tree in the middle of the garden. God said we must not eat from it, or even touch it, or we will die." The serpent's eyes gleamed. "You will not die," he hissed. "God knows that when you eat of it, your eyes will be opened. You will be like God, knowing good and evil." The words hung in the air like poison. Eve looked at the tree. The fruit was beautiful. It seemed harmless. And in her heart, a seed of doubt took root. What if the serpent was right? What if God was holding something back? She reached out. She plucked the fruit. She took a bite. And then she gave it to Adam, and he ate. In that instant, everything shattered. Their eyes were opened, and for the first time, they saw themselves as they truly were. Naked, exposed, ashamed, fear gripped their hearts. They heard the voice of God walking in the garden, and they hid among the trees. "Adam, where are you?" God called. "I heard your voice, and I was afraid because I was naked, so I hid." "Who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten from the tree I commanded you not to eat from?" "The woman you gave me. She gave me the fruit, and I ate." "What have you done?" "The serpent deceived me, and I ate." The curse fell. To the serpent, God said, "You will crawl on your belly. You will eat dust. And I will put enmity between you and the woman, between your offspring and hers. He will crush your head, and you will strike his heel." To Eve, God said, "I will multiply your pain in childbearing. In pain you will bring forth children. To Adam, God said, "Cursed is the ground because of you. Through painful toil you will eat of it. By the sweat of your brow you will eat your food until you return to the ground. For dust you are, and to dust you will return." And then God made garments of skin for Adam and Eve. The first death, the first sacrifice, the first covering for sin. And God drove them out of Eden. He placed cherubim with flaming swords at the entrance to guard the way to the tree of life. Paradise was closed, but the promise remained. Adam and Eve had children. Their firstborn was Cain. "I have acquired a man with the help of the Lord," Eve said. Later, she bore Abel. Cain worked the soil. Abel kept the flocks. And when the time came to present offerings to God, Abel brought the best of his flock, the fattest lambs. But Cain brought whatever he found in his fields, an offering without thought, without reverence. God looked with favor on Abel and his offering, but he did not look with favor on Cain's. And Cain's face darkened with rage. "Why are you angry?" God asked him. "If you do what is right, will you not be accepted? But if you do not do what is right, sin is crouching at your door. It desires to have you, but you must rule over it." But Cain did not listen. The anger festered. The jealousy burned. One day, Cain said to Abel, "Let's go out to the field." And when they were alone, Cain rose up against his brother. He struck him. He killed him. The first murder. The first bloodshed. Human blood soaked into the ground, crying out to heaven, "Where is your brother Abel?" God demanded. "I don't know," Cain replied coldly. "Am I my brother's keeper? What have you done?" "The voice of your brother's blood cries out to me from the ground. Now you are cursed from the earth. You will be a fugitive and a wanderer. My punishment is too great to bear," Cain said. "Anyone who finds me will kill me." But God placed a mark on Cain so that no one would kill him. And Cain went out from the presence of the Lord and settled in the land of Nod, east of Eden, a wanderer, a fugitive, forever separated from God. Generations passed. Cain's descendants built cities. They made tools. They created music. But with each generation, wickedness increased. Violence filled the earth. Every intention of man's heart was only evil continually. And God looked upon the world he had created, and his heart was grieved. "My spirit will not contend with man forever," God said. "I will wipe from the face of the earth every living creature." But there was one man who found grace in the eyes of the Lord. His name was Noah. Noah was righteous. Noah was blameless among his generation. Noah walked with God, and God spoke to him. "Noah, I have determined to make an end of all flesh, for the earth is filled with violence. Build yourself an ark of gopher wood. Make rooms in it. Cover it inside and out with pitch. Make it 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, and 30 cubits high. For I will bring a flood upon the earth to destroy all life under the heavens. But with you I will establish my covenant. You and your family will enter the ark, and you will bring 2 of every kind of animal to keep them alive with you." Noah did not question. He did not hesitate. For over 100 years, he built. The people mocked him. They laughed at him. "Noah, it has never rained. Why do you need a boat? You're wasting your life, old man." But Noah did not stop. And when the ark was finished, the animals came. 2 by 2, they entered. Lions and lambs, eagles and sparrows, creatures great and small. And then Noah and his family entered. And God shut the door. 7 days passed. The sky darkened. The wind began to howl. And then the rain began to fall. At first, just a drizzle. Then a downpour. Then a deluge. The fountains of the great deep burst open. The floodgates of the heavens were opened. And for 40 days and 40 nights, the rain fell without ceasing. The rivers overflowed. The seas swallowed the shores. The mountains disappeared beneath the waters. Men pounded on the door of the ark. "Noah, let us in. Save us." But it was too late. God had shut the door, and the waters rose, higher and higher, until every living thing on the face of the earth was destroyed. Only Noah and those with him in the ark remained alive. For 150 days, the waters prevailed. But then God remembered Noah. He sent a wind over the earth, and the waters began to recede. The ark came to rest on the mountains of Ararat. Noah waited. He sent out a raven, but it did not return. He sent out a dove, and it came back with an olive leaf in its beak. The earth was being restored. Finally, God said, "Come out of the ark. you and your family and every living creature. Be fruitful and multiply upon the earth." Noah built an altar. He offered sacrifices to God. And then a sign appeared in the sky, a rainbow, a bow of light stretching across the heavens. "This is the sign of the covenant I am making between me and you and every living creature," God said. "Never again will I destroy the earth with a flood. Whenever the rainbow appears in the clouds, I will see it and remember the everlasting covenant." And so the earth was reborn. But man's heart had not changed. The promise of God continued through Isaac. He married Rebekah, and she conceived twins. Rebekah sought the Lord, and he said to her, "Two nations are in your womb. Two peoples will be separated from within you. One people will be stronger than the other, and the older will serve the younger." When the time came, the first baby was born red and hairy. They named him Esau. But as he came out, his brother was grasping his heel. So they named him Jacob. The boys grew. Esau became a skillful hunter, a man of the field. Jacob was quiet, a man who stayed among the tents. Isaac loved Esau, but Rebekah loved Jacob. One day, Jacob was cooking stew when Esau came in from the field, exhausted. "Give me some of that red stew," Esau said. "I'm famished." "First sell me your birthright," Jacob replied. "Look, I am about to die," Esau said. "What good is a birthright to me?" "Swear to me first," Jacob insisted. So Esau swore an oath, selling his birthright to Jacob for a bowl of stew. Esau ate and drank and then got up and left. He despised his birthright. But the real battle was only beginning. Years passed. Isaac grew old. His eyes grew dim. He could no longer see. One day he called Esau and said, "I am old and don't know the day of my death. Take your weapons, go out to the field, and hunt game for me. Prepare me the kind of tasty food I like and bring it to me to eat, so that I may give you my blessing before I die." Rebekah overheard. She remembered the prophecy. The older will serve the younger. She called Jacob and said, "I heard your father say he will bless Esau. Now, my son, listen carefully and do what I tell you. Go to the flock and bring me 2 choice young goats. I will prepare tasty food for your father. Then you will take it to him so that he may bless you." "But my brother is a hairy man while I have smooth skin," Jacob said. "What if my father touches me? I would appear to be tricking him and would bring down a curse on myself." "Let the curse fall on me," Rebekah said. "Just do what I say." Jacob obeyed. Rebekah prepared the food. She covered Jacob's arms and neck with goat skins. Jacob went to his father. "My father," he said. "Who is it?" Isaac asked. "I am Esau, your firstborn. I have done as you told me. Please sit up and eat some of my meal, so that you may give me your blessing." "How did you find it so quickly, my son?" Isaac asked. "The Lord your God gave me success," Jacob replied. Isaac was suspicious. "Come near so I can touch you to know whether you really are my son Esau." Jacob went close. Isaac touched him. "The voice is the voice of Jacob, but the hands are the hands of Esau. Are you really my son Esau?" "I am," Jacob lied. So Isaac ate. He drank. And then he blessed Jacob. "May God give you heaven's dew and earth's richness, an abundance of grain and new wine. May nations serve you and peoples bow down to you. Be Lord over your brothers, and may the sons of your mother bow down to you. May those who curse you be cursed, and those who bless you be blessed." As soon as Isaac finished blessing Jacob, and Jacob had scarcely left, Esau returned from hunting. He too prepared food and brought it to his father. "My father, sit up and eat some of my meal, so that you may give me your blessing." "Who are you?" Isaac asked. "I am your son, your firstborn, Esau." Isaac trembled violently. "Who was it, then, that hunted game and brought it to me? I ate it just before you came and I blessed him. And indeed he will be blessed." When Esau heard his father's words, he burst out with a loud and bitter cry. "Bless me too, my father. But your brother came deceitfully and took your blessing. Do you have only one blessing, my father? Bless me too." And Esau wept aloud. If you made it this far, kindly comment where you are watching from and give us a like. Thank you. Isaac said, "Your dwelling will be away from the earth's richness, away from the dew of heaven above. You will live by the sword, and you will serve your brother." Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing. He said to himself, "The days of mourning for my father are near. Then I will kill my brother Jacob." When Rebekah heard this, she sent for Jacob. "Your brother is planning to kill you. Flee at once to my brother Laban in Haran. Stay with him until your brother's fury subsides." So Jacob left. He fled into the wilderness. He was alone. He was afraid. He had the blessing, but he had lost everything. As the sun set, he found a stone, placed it under his head, and lay down to sleep. And in the night, he dreamed. Jacob saw a stairway resting on the earth, with its top reaching to heaven. Angels were ascending and descending on it. Above it stood the Lord. I am the Lord, the God of your father Abraham and the God of Isaac. I will give you and your descendants the land on which you are lying. Your descendants will be like the dust of the earth. All peoples on earth will be blessed through you and your offspring. I am with you and will watch over you wherever you go. I will not leave you until I have done what I have promised you. Jacob woke with a start. Surely the Lord is in this place, and I was not aware of it. He took the stone he had used as a pillow and set it up as a pillar. He poured oil on top of it and called the place Bethel, the house of God. And Jacob made a vow. If God will be with me and will watch over me on this journey, and if he will give me food to eat and clothes to wear, so that I return safely to my father's household, then the Lord will be my God. Jacob rose and continued his journey. He was no longer the same man, but his transformation was not yet complete. Jacob came to the land of the eastern peoples. He saw a well in the field with shepherds gathered around it. Do you know Laban? He asked. Yes, we know him, they replied. Look, here comes his daughter Rachel with the sheep. Jacob looked up and saw Rachel. She was beautiful, and something stirred in his heart. He went to Laban and told him his story. After a month, Laban said, Just because you are a relative of mine, should you work for me for nothing? Tell me what your wages should be. Jacob was in love with Rachel. I'll work for you 7 years in return for your younger daughter Rachel. It's better that I give her to you than to some other man, Laban said. Stay here with me. So Jacob served 7 years to get Rachel, but they seemed like only a few days to him because of his love for her. Finally, the time came. Give me my wife. My time is completed. But Laban gathered all the people of the place and gave a feast. And when evening came, he took his daughter Leah and brought her to Jacob. And Jacob made love to her. But when morning came, there was Leah. What is this you have done to me? Jacob said to Laban, I served you for Rachel, didn't I? Why have you deceived me? It is not our custom here to give the younger daughter in marriage before the older one, Laban replied. Finish this daughter's bridal week. Then we will give you the younger one also, in return for another 7 years of work. Jacob did so. He finished the week with Leah, and then Laban gave him his daughter Rachel to be his wife. Jacob made love to Rachel also, and his love for Rachel was greater than his love for Leah. And he worked for Laban another 7 years. Jacob had been deceived just as he had deceived. But God blessed him. He prospered. His flocks multiplied. His wealth increased. But tension grew between Jacob and Laban. And then God spoke, Go back to the land of your fathers and to your relatives, and I will be with you. Jacob left in secret. He took his wives, his children, and all his possessions. He crossed the Euphrates River and headed toward the hill country of Gilead. But as he approached the land of his fathers, fear gripped him. He was about to face Esau, the brother he had wronged, the man who had vowed to kill him. Jacob sent messengers ahead. They returned with news. Your brother Esau is coming to meet you, and 400 men are with him. Jacob was terrified. He divided his family and possessions into 2 groups. If Esau comes and attacks one group, the other may escape. He prayed, O God of my father Abraham, God of my father Isaac, save me from the hand of my brother Esau, for I am afraid he will come and attack me. That night, Jacob sent his family across the ford of the Jabbok, but he stayed behind, alone, and suddenly, a man appeared and wrestled with him until daybreak. The struggle was fierce. Neither would give in. When the man saw that he could not overpower Jacob, he touched the socket of Jacob's hip, and Jacob's hip was wrenched. Let me go, for it is daybreak, the man said. I will not let you go unless you bless me, Jacob replied. What is your name? Jacob. Your name will no longer be Jacob, but Israel, because you have struggled with God and with humans and have overcome. Jacob realized he had been wrestling with God himself. He limped away as the sun rose. He had been broken, but he had also been blessed. He was no longer Jacob the deceiver. He was Israel, the one who strives with God. The next day, Jacob looked up and saw Esau coming with 400 men. Jacob bowed 7 times as he approached, but Esau ran to meet him. He embraced him. He threw his arms around his neck and kissed him, and they wept. The past was healed. The brothers were reconciled. God had changed Jacob's heart. And the story of Israel had only begun. Jacob had 12 sons: Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, Asher, Issachar, Zebulun, Joseph, and Benjamin. But one son stood out: Joseph, the son of Rachel, born in Jacob's old age. Jacob loved Joseph more than all his sons. He made him a richly ornamented robe, a coat of many colors. And when his brothers saw that their father loved him more than any of them, they hated him and could not speak a kind word to him. Thank you for watching. Joseph had a dream. "Listen to this dream I had," he said. "We were binding sheaves of grain out in the field when suddenly my sheaf rose and stood upright, while your sheaves gathered around mine and bowed down to it." His brothers said, "Do you intend to reign over us? Will you actually rule us?" And they hated him all the more. Then Joseph had another dream. "Listen, I had another dream, and this time the sun and moon and 11 stars were bowing down to me." Before we go further, kindly let us know in the comments where you are watching from. Thanks you. When he told his father as well as his brothers, his father rebuked him. "What is this dream you had? Will your mother and I and your brothers actually come and bow down to the ground before you?" His brothers were jealous, but his father kept the matter in mind. One day, Joseph's brothers were grazing their flocks near Shechem. Jacob sent Joseph to check on them. When they saw him in the distance, they plotted to kill him. "Here comes that dreamer," they said. "Come now, let's kill him and throw him into one of these cisterns. Then we'll see what comes of his dreams." But Reuben said, "Let's not take his life. Throw him into this cistern, but don't lay a hand on him." So when Joseph came to his brothers, they stripped him of his robe and threw him into the cistern. The cistern was empty. There was no water in it. As they sat down to eat, they looked up and saw a caravan of Ishmaelites coming from Gilead. Judah said, "What will we gain if we kill our brother? Come, let's sell him to the Ishmaelites." So they pulled Joseph up out of the cistern and sold him for 20 shekels of silver. The Ishmaelites took him to Egypt. The brothers took Joseph's robe, slaughtered a goat, and dipped the robe in the blood. They took it back to their father and said, "We found this. Examine it to see whether it is your son's robe." Jacob recognized it. "It is my son's robe. Some ferocious animal has devoured him. Joseph has surely been torn to pieces." Jacob tore his clothes, put on sackcloth, and mourned for his son many days. But Joseph was not dead. He was on his way to Egypt, and God was with him. Joseph was sold to Potiphar, captain of Pharaoh's guard. The Lord was with Joseph and gave him success in everything he did. Potiphar saw this and put Joseph in charge of his household. But Potiphar's wife noticed Joseph. He was well-built and handsome. She said, "Come to bed with me." But Joseph refused. "How then could I do such a wicked thing and sin against God?" One day, she caught him by his cloak and said, "Come to bed with me." But he left his cloak in her hand and ran out of the house. In fury, she lied to her husband. "That Hebrew slave you brought tried to make sport of me." Potiphar burned with anger. He took Joseph and put him in prison. But even in prison, the Lord was with Joseph. The warden put Joseph in charge of all those held in the prison. 2 of Pharaoh's officials, the cupbearer and the baker, were imprisoned. Both had dreams on the same night. Joseph interpreted them. The cupbearer would be restored to his position in 3 days. The baker would be executed in 3 days. And it happened just as Joseph said. But the cupbearer forgot about Joseph. 2 full years passed. Then Pharaoh had 2 dreams that no one could interpret. The cupbearer remembered Joseph. "There is a young Hebrew in the dungeon who can interpret dreams." So Pharaoh sent for Joseph. He was quickly brought from the dungeon. He shaved and changed his clothes and came before Pharaoh. "I had a dream," Pharaoh said. "In my dream, I was standing on the bank of the Nile, when out of the river there came up 7 cows, fat and sleek. After them, 7 other cows came up, scrawny and very ugly and lean. The lean, ugly cows ate up the 7 fat cows. Then I had another dream. 7 heads of grain, full and good, were growing on a single stalk. After them, 7 other heads sprouted, withered and thin. The thin heads of grain swallowed up the 7 good heads." What does it mean? Joseph said, "The dreams are one and the same. God has revealed to Pharaoh what he is about to do. The 7 good cows and 7 good heads of grain are 7 years. 7 years of great abundance are coming throughout the land of Egypt. But 7 years of famine will follow them. The abundance in the land will not be remembered. The famine will be so severe it will ravage the land. Let Pharaoh appoint commissioners to take a fifth of the harvest during the 7 years of abundance. This food should be held in reserve for the 7 years of famine. Otherwise, the country will be ruined. The plan seemed good to Pharaoh. Can we find anyone like this man, one in whom is the Spirit of God? Pharaoh said to Joseph, since God has made all this known to you, there is no one so discerning and wise as you. You shall be in charge of my palace. Only with respect to the throne will I be greater than you. Pharaoh took his signet ring from his finger and put it on Joseph's finger. He dressed him in robes of fine linen and put a gold chain around his neck. Joseph was 30 years old when he entered the service of Pharaoh. The slave had become second only to the king. The 7 years of abundance came. Joseph collected all the food produced in those 7 years and stored it in the cities. The 7 years of famine began, just as Joseph had said. There was famine in all the other lands, but in the whole land of Egypt there was food. When all Egypt began to feel the famine, Pharaoh told all the Egyptians, "Go to Joseph and do what he tells you." The famine was severe everywhere. So all the world came to Egypt to buy grain from Joseph. Back in Canaan, Jacob heard that there was grain in Egypt. He said to his sons, "Go down and buy some for us, so that we may live and not die." So 10 of Joseph's brothers went down to buy grain. But Jacob did not send Benjamin, Joseph's younger brother, for fear that harm might come to him. When Joseph's brothers arrived, they bowed down to him with their faces to the ground. Joseph recognized his brothers, but they did not recognize him. He remembered his dreams. "You are spies. You have come to see where our land is unprotected." "No, my lord," they answered. "Your servants have come to buy food. We were 12 brothers, sons of one man. The youngest is now with our father, and one is no more." Joseph said, "It is just as I told you. You are spies. Send one of your number to get your brother. The rest of you will be kept in prison. Then I will know whether you are telling the truth." He put them all in custody for 3 days. On the 3rd day, Joseph said, "If you are honest men, let one of your brothers stay here in prison, while the rest of you go and take grain back for your starving households. But you must bring your youngest brother to me." They did not realize that Joseph could understand them, for he was using an interpreter. He turned away from them and began to weep. Then he turned back and spoke to them again. He had Simeon taken and bound before their eyes. The brothers returned to Jacob. "Simeon is being held. The man who is lord over the land said we must take Benjamin back with us." Jacob said, "You have deprived me of my children. Joseph is no more and Simeon is no more, and now you want to take Benjamin." But the famine was still severe. Finally, Judah said to his father, "Send the boy along with me. I myself will guarantee his safety. You can hold me personally responsible. If I do not bring him back, I will bear the blame before you all my life." So the men took Benjamin and double the amount of silver and hurried down to Egypt. When Joseph saw Benjamin with them, he said to the steward of his house, "Take these men to my house." Joseph gave them a feast. But before they left, he gave orders. "Fill the men's sacks with as much food as they can carry, and put each man's silver in the mouth of his sack. Then put my cup, the silver one, in the mouth of the youngest one's sack." They left. They had not gone far when Joseph said to his steward, "Go after those men at once. Ask them, 'Why have you repaid good with evil?'" When the steward caught up with them, he repeated these words. The brothers were shocked. "If any of your servants is found to have it, he will die?" A search was made, beginning with the oldest and ending with the youngest. And the cup was found in Benjamin's sack. They tore their clothes in grief. They all loaded their donkeys and returned to the city. Judah and his brothers came to Joseph's house. They threw themselves to the ground before him. "What have you done?" Joseph said. Judah said, "What can we say? How can we prove our innocence? God has uncovered your servant's guilt. We are now your slaves. Only the man who was found to have the cup will become my slave. The rest of you, go back to your father in peace." Then Judah went up to him and said, "Pardon your servant, my lord. Please let me speak." My lord asked his servants, "Do you have a father or a brother?" And we answered, "We have an aged father, and there is a young son born to him in his old age. His brother is dead, and he is the only one of his mother's sons left, and his father loves him. Our father said, 'If harm comes to him, you will bring my gray head down to the grave in sorrow.' Now then, please let your servant remain here as my lord's slave in place of the boy, and let the boy return with his brothers. How can I go back to my father if the boy is not with me?" I cannot bear to see the misery that would come on my father." Joseph could no longer control himself. He cried out, "Have everyone leave my presence." So there was no one with Joseph when he made himself known to his brothers. And he wept so loudly that the Egyptians heard him. Joseph said to his brothers, "I am Joseph. Is my father still living?" But his brothers were terrified. They could not answer him. Joseph said, "Come close to me. I am your brother Joseph, the one you sold into Egypt. And now, do not be distressed and do not be angry with yourselves for selling me here, because it was to save lives that God sent me ahead of you. For 2 years now there has been famine in the land, and for the next 5 years there will be no plowing and reaping. But God sent me ahead of you to preserve for you a remnant on earth and to save your lives by a great deliverance. So then, it was not you who sent me here, but God. Go back to my father and tell him, 'This is what your son Joseph says. God has made me Lord of all Egypt. Come down to me. Don't delay. You shall live in the region of Goshen and be near me, you, your children and grandchildren, your flocks and herds, and all you have. I will provide for you there, because 5 years of famine are still to come." His brothers wept with him. They embraced. The past was forgiven. The hatred was healed. What was meant for evil, God had used for good. When the news reached Pharaoh's palace, Pharaoh said to Joseph, "Tell your brothers to load their animals and return to Canaan. Get your father and come back. I will give you the best of the land of Egypt." Joseph gave them carts and provisions. To each of them he gave new clothing, but to Benjamin he gave 300 shekels of silver and 5 sets of clothes. Then he sent his brothers away. The brothers returned to their father Jacob in Canaan. "Joseph is still alive," they shouted. "In fact, he is ruler of all Egypt." Jacob was stunned. He did not believe them. But when they told him everything Joseph had said, and when he saw the carts Joseph had sent, the spirit of their father Jacob revived. "I'm convinced. My son Joseph is still alive. I will go and see him before I die." So Israel set out with all that was his. God spoke to Israel in a vision at night. "Jacob, Jacob, here I am. Do not be afraid to go down to Egypt, for I will make you into a great nation there. I will go down to Egypt with you, and I will surely bring you back again." Jacob left Beersheba, and Israel's sons took their father Jacob and their children and their wives in the carts that Pharaoh had sent. They also took with them their livestock and the possessions they had acquired in Canaan. Jacob and all his offspring went to Egypt. When they arrived in Goshen, Joseph had his chariot made ready and went to meet his father Israel. As soon as Joseph appeared before him, he threw his arms around his father and wept for a long time. Israel said to Joseph, "Now I am ready to die, since I have seen for myself that you are still alive." Joseph settled his father and his brothers in Egypt and gave them property in the best part of the land, the district of Ramesses. Joseph also provided his father and his brothers and all his father's household with food. Jacob lived in Egypt 17 years. When the time drew near for Israel to die, he called for his son Joseph. "Do not bury me in Egypt," he said. "When I rest with my fathers, carry me out of Egypt and bury me where they are buried." "I will do as you say," Joseph said. "Swear to me." Then Joseph swore to him. Jacob gathered all his sons and blessed them. Each one he blessed with an appropriate blessing. Then he gave them instructions and said, "I am about to be gathered to my people. Bury me with my fathers." When Jacob had finished giving instructions, he drew his feet up into the bed, breathed his last, and was gathered to his people. Joseph threw himself on his father and wept over him and kissed him. Then Joseph directed the physicians to embalm his father Israel. The Egyptians mourned for him 70 days. When the days of mourning had passed, Joseph spoke to Pharaoh's court. "My father made me swear an oath. He said, 'I am about to die. Bury me in the tomb I dug for myself in the land of Canaan. Now let me go up and bury my father. Then I will return.' 'Go up and bury your father,' Pharaoh said. So Joseph went up to bury his father. All Pharaoh's officials accompanied him. It was a very large company. After burying his father, Joseph returned to Egypt, together with his brothers and all the others who had gone with him. When Joseph's brothers saw that their father was dead, they said, "What if Joseph holds a grudge against us and pays us back for all the wrongs we did to him?" So they sent word to Joseph, saying, "Your father left these instructions before he died. This is what you are to say to Joseph. I ask you to forgive your brothers the sins and the wrongs they committed in treating you so badly. Now please forgive the sins of the servants of the God of your father." When their message came to him, Joseph wept. His brothers then came and threw themselves down before him. "We are your slaves," they said. But Joseph said to them, "Don't be afraid. Am I in the place of God? You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives. So then, don't be afraid. I will provide for you and your children." And he reassured them and spoke kindly to them. Joseph stayed in Egypt, along with all his father's family. He lived 110 years and saw the third generation of Ephraim's children. Joseph said to his brothers, "I am about to die, but God will surely come to your aid and take you up out of this land to the land he promised on oath to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob." And Joseph made the Israelites swear an oath and said, "God will surely come to your aid, and then you must carry my bones up from this place." So Joseph died at the age of 110, and after they embalmed him, he was placed in a coffin in Egypt. But his words echoed through the generations. God will surely come to your aid. One day, the people of Israel would leave Egypt. One day, they would be slaves crying out for deliverance. One day, God would raise up a deliverer, a man who would be drawn from the water, a man who would confront Pharaoh, a man who would lead them through the Red Sea. His name would be Moses, and the promise would continue. From the dust of creation to the Garden of Eden, from the flood to the Tower of Babel, from Abraham's call to Isaac's near sacrifice, from Jacob's wrestling to Joseph's rise from the pit to the palace. This is Genesis, the beginning of all things, the origin of sin, the promise of redemption. Every story, every betrayal, every trial was leading somewhere, leading to a people, leading to a nation, leading to a savior. For what began in a garden would one day be finished on a cross. What was lost through one man's disobedience would be redeemed through another man's obedience. The seed promised to Eve, the child promised to Abraham, the blessing given to Jacob, the dreams given to Joseph, all of it was pointing forward, pointing to the one who would crush the serpent's head, the one who would be the true sacrifice on the mountain, the one who would be lifted up so that all who believe might have eternal life. This is not just ancient history. This is your heritage. This is your story. The same God who spoke light into darkness, who walked with Adam, who saved Noah, who called Abraham, who wrestled with Jacob, who preserved Joseph, that same God is calling you today. He has not changed. His promises have not failed. And just as he was faithful to every generation before, he will be faithful to you. If you've been moved by this story, if something stirred in your heart, don't let this moment pass. Share this video. Let others discover the power of Genesis. Subscribe to this channel because this story doesn't end here. The greatest chapters are still to come. From Egypt to the Exodus, from slavery to freedom, from the wilderness to the promised land. This is only the beginning. 2 videos will appear on your screen in just a moment. If you want to know what happened in the world before the flood, if you want to see how falling angels dominated and corrupted the world, watch the Nephilim, the true story of giants. And if you want to see another incredible hidden story of the Book of Enoch, hidden dangers of angels and giants. 2 powerful stories. Choose one and keep going deeper into the hidden stories about the world. Thank you for watching. Thank you for staying until the very end. May God bless you. May He open your eyes to see His hand in your own story. And may you never forget that from the very beginning, He has always had a plan for redemption, a plan for restoration, a plan that includes you. Go in peace. Walk in faith. And remember the promise. God will surely come to your aid. Amen.